General Hasnain, I want to come back to you on this. From the broader challenge that we're talking about as far as white-collar terror is concerned, multiple doctors who've been arrested. This woman, appeared to be hiding in plain sight. A doctor, B, a woman, C, living a pretty visibly ordinary life. It must have been very difficult for the intelligence agencies to crack this kind of thing. And from what we know so far, she was directly possibly in touch with the JEM in Pakistan, trying to create a kind of women's Jaish-e-Mohammed module here in India. General Hasnain, your view on that?
Yes, absolutely. When it comes to the involvement of women, we've not had too much of this in Jammu and Kashmir as such. And this is not really a surprise because at some stage or the other, women would have got involved. And their finger of suspicion is often not sort of pointed towards women in most of these cases. And they are the ones who can sort of function under the radar for fairly long. It is men who, you have arrest one and you can probably break a complete network. But women is much more difficult to focus upon them. The second aspect that I will definitely like to comment upon, Shiv, is the fact that we do not have a history of suicide bombing in Kashmir. We have had just about 4 or maximum 5 suicide bombings, the last being Pulwama, right? To my mind, even this fact that Dr. Omar got blown up in this car that day, it seems improbable that he was attempting to try and blow himself up with the car. Probably he was going somewhere to plant these IEDs, etc. And to my mind, my speculation only is that he seems to be some kind of a YouTube bomber who has learned how to put together bombs through the YouTube route. And where probably is not a complete professional. This has become difficult of late because there aren't too many bomb handlers in Jammu and Kashmir at the moment. That I'm sure the intelligence agencies know. And we have been speculating on this for a long time. So much of this thing is happening online. Education online, directions online, recce online, and things like that. And invariably in these kind of cases, these issues remain at risk. A risk of getting revealed very soon or risk of not being professional enough. We are fortunate that such circumstances existed.
Abhijit, Dr. Shaheen recruited to create a Jaish women's module in India. Nothing of this kind has ever, at least as far as I know, been attempted before. What do you think? Do you think she would have been successful in already creating some part of this module?
I'm not surprised at all. Because, you find a lot of women suicide bombers in West Asia. You find a lot of women terrorists in West Asia. And, it's a matter of time. This Six Sigma program where everything is coordinated in corporate governance. Terrorists also have this Six Sigma. There's online learning modules and things like that. ISIS used to be very famous for self-radicalization. The second thing we should never be surprised about is that terrorists end up being, if you actually look at the history of terrorists, many of them end up being extremely qualified white-collar, high-income professionals because they have a much greater exposure, much more leisure time to get radicalized and things like that. If you remember the Sri Lanka bombings, they were carried out by one of the richest families in Sri Lanka. So I'm not surprised about this. I am not even surprised that they are using a minority university to mask, because this is the place where you would go to radicalize young minds and create your network and things like that, right? This all fits into the modus operandi we've seen. But General Saab is right. It is the first time we've seen this, to my knowledge. It is the first time we are seeing this in India. The problem now, of course, is this is going to inconvenience a lot of people because women were generally kept out of these things as a rule. That is no longer going to be the case. But understand how this is going to work. This is actually going to feed the narrative. You've already seen a whole bunch of the usual suspects on Twitter, saying, oh, this is the time for peace. It's the system that went wrong, etc., etc. The next time women get picked up, they're going to say, oh, what was it? School headmaster's son, was it?
Yes, that's right.
A wife of oncologist or something like that will be the new thing. And, it feeds more radicalization narratives.
No, you're right. And, the one strand of the investigation is going into whether this Jaish women's module has actually taken root in any form whatsoever, because Dr. Shaheen is the only woman who's been arrested in this conspiracy so far.